Morris, America's most enjoyable cigarette, presents
Racket Squad.
Remember this, you can smoke for pleasure today. No cigarette hangover tomorrow. That is the big advantage you enjoy in Philip Morris. Remember, Philip Morris is made differently from any other leading brand. And that difference is your guarantee of everything you've ever wanted in a cigarette. Tasty mildness, rich flavor, pleasant aroma. A clean, refreshing smoke, and no cigarette hangover. Yes, you'll be glad tomorrow you smoked Philip Morris today.
Captain Braddock, ready. What you're about to see is a thrilling and dramatic real-life story, taken from the official files of the police racket and bunco squads, business protective associations, and similar sources all over the country. It is presented by Philip Morris as a public service to expose the confidence game, the carefully worked out frauds by which confidence men take more money each year from the American public than all the bank robbers and thugs with their violence. This case, for example, we call it A Place for Grandma. Doesn't sound very violent, does it? Yet the ruthlessness behind the title makes this particular racket a new low in human behavior. It first came to my attention when a man and his wife called at my office.
Captain Braddock, I'm Harry Davies. This is my wife.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Thank you. We've come to see you about my mother. Some months ago, she went to live in a private boarding home. Cora, I never should have let her go there.
Suppose you tell me the facts in the case.
Well, after my father died, we asked my mother to come and live with us.
How do I look? Oh, just lovely, dear.
Heavy date?
Oh, just a boy I know coming over.
Is it Al?
Oh, Grandma, no. I only dated Al a couple of times ages ago. His name is Ray. Please try and remember.
Raymond. Of course I will, dear. Well, I guess I'd better go and comb my hair.
Harry, it's getting late. We better get going. Gosh, I just know Grandma will call him Al the minute he walks in.
I don't think so.
Harry, it's getting late. But every time a person comes over, she calls him Al. It's very embarrassing. People understand that she's an old lady. Harry, please, we'll be late to the Martins. They're having 2 tables of bridge.
As soon as I finish this.
Mother, Grandma's going with you, isn't she?
Well, of course not. You know she couldn't stay up that late.
But we're staying in. Ray's coming over just to play records. He's bringing some of his own real collector's items.
Well, that'll be very nice, dear. There's some pie left, and there are cold drinks in the icebox.
But, Mother, don't you understand? Grandma will be sitting in the living room all evening.
Oh, no, she won't. She goes to bed early.
Not when anyone's here, she doesn't. Gosh, why can't you take her with you?
Because there's nothing for her to do there, and we'll be up late.
But, Mother, she'll start telling anecdotes again. Last time I had some kids over, she went into that whole big deal about how she and Grandpa had tickets for the Iroquois Theater the night the big fire broke out. As though anyone cared. Couldn't you at least hint to her to stay inside?
But, Helen, I can't ask Grandma to stay in her room all evening.
Well, why not? It's my room, too, and she's in there lots of times. The whole evening, when I'm trying to do my homework.
Now, that will do, young lady. If you ask me, you're being very unkind. Your grandma loves you very much.
Well, holy cow, I love her, too. What's that got to do with it?
Harry, we could take Mother with us.
Keep an old lady sitting up half the night just to please a 16-year-old girl? I should say not.
Oh, never mind. I'll call Ray and tell him not to come at all. I should have known better than to ask anyone over, not in this house.
Grandma! It won't be necessary to phone him. I won't disturb you.
But, Grandma, please,
Well,
I
all
can
right. I understand.
Well, I hope you're satisfied.
What?
Well.
I think you'll find that bedroom very comfortable. It gets the morning sun.
Yes, it does seem very cheerful.
And you won't have any stairs to climb. That's very important.
It does bother me to climb stairs. Oh, it was different years ago when my boy was little. We had such a big house. We weren't what you'd call rich, but we were always very comfortable.
You'll be comfortable here, too. Good food, your hair shampooed regularly, plenty of heat. I take good care of my guests.
I'm sure you do.
What's more, you'll have peace and quiet, and you'll know that you're not in the way.
Yes. I think that's what I want most.
I understand. But I do think your son will find the cost of living here nominal.
Oh, my son doesn't support me. I'm able to take care of myself.
How fortunate.
I was never going to be a burden to my son. So years ago, I started saving.
That's wonderful. And certainly not easy.
No, it wasn't. I saved for years. Dollars that not even my husband knew about, but it was worth it. And now I have over $3,000 saved up.
You know, you remind me so much of my own mother. I've been wanting to call you that ever since you first walked in here.
Oh, please do. I like it.
Good. Then it's decided you're going to move in here?
Yes. I think I shall like it very much. I'll move in today. Well, so long, Mrs. Ferris. I'll see you soon.
All right. Goodbye. I thought I told you to stay upstairs.
I just wanted to see what the next one would look like.
Any more talk like that and I'll turn you out. Then you know what'll happen. They'll put you in the charity house. Or maybe even in the crazy house.
No!
Then you stay upstairs when I tell you to.
You didn't used to talk to me like this when I first came here. I feel so awful. It's all my fault. If I hadn't said those things like...
Now, don't blame yourself, dear. This is something I should have done long ago.
But, Mother, we want you here with us. Now, let me bring you things back from the cab,
You're a good boy, Harry. You always have been. But believe me, this is going to be all right. I have a lovely room, and there's such a nice backyard, and Mrs. Ferris even plays cribbage.
Grandma, you're not just saying this.
Oh, no, of course not. But we can all visit each other, and I'll come to dinner. It'll be just like it was before your father died. Oh, goodness, that taxi's waiting.
Well, at least I can take you there.
Oh, no. I am quite able to ride in a cab by myself. And please don't all be looking as if you think I'm going to my own...
No, darling.
Oh, sweetie.
In the weeks that followed Mother Davy's arrival at Mrs. Ferris's private boarding home, she was treated like a baby. Breakfast in bed with the elderly lady protesting that Mrs. Ferris is babying her too much. All the personal attentions any woman, young or old, appreciates.
There. I think that looks good.
Oh, yes. And I think you're very kind to take such an interest in me. Miss Hopkins. Miss Hopkins. Won't you come in?
Well, come in, Aunt Mattie, if Miss Davies asks you. She's just like a child.
I understand.
I had this room once. You got the best room. She made me go upstairs.
Aunt Mattie, you know I took you upstairs because I wanted to be near you at night. She has such nightmares. Come along now. We mustn't disturb Mrs. Davies.
Oh, she doesn't, really.
Come along, Aunt Mattie. Is your daughter coming to see you today?
Yes. And my granddaughter's coming, too.
Good. I'm going to bake some of my special cookies and you can serve tea.
Oh,
Don't you let her fool you with her sweet talk. She's mean and wicked. She don't give me enough to eat.
Oh, Miss Hopkins, how can you talk like that?
And another thing, she's not my niece. She just says that because...
Well, why should she?
Because she doesn't want anyone to know that I...
Aunt Mattie. Now, what could she be up to running back in here like that?
She said a very odd thing, Mrs. Ferris. She told me she wasn't your aunt.
Oh, she isn't. I thought you knew that. I always call her Aunt Mattie just to make her feel more like one of the family. But sometimes it's more than I can bear trying to keep her here, but I just can't bring myself to send her away. However, I don't want her to bother you.
Oh, I don't mind, really. But I think you're very good and kind.
Now I'm going to bake those cookies for our tea party.
Gosh, Trudy, you sure missed a wonderful dance. What a revolting time for you to get the virus. Oh, the music was divine. And guess what? You know who's the most super dancer? Chuck Stevens. I know he has a face like a barracuda, but you don't look at his face when you're dancing.
Laura, I'm home.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
I couldn't come by this afternoon because I went to see my grandmother.
You went to see Mother?
Yes. Helen. I only just got on. Just being a half hour ago. Call me later. Please put the telephone back in the hall. She's spending the best years of her life on the phone.
You know, if Alexander Graham Bell had known what he was doing to parents of the future, he'd have scrapped the whole idea. Tell me about Mother.
She's wonderful. Looks grand. And Harry, she really loves it there. Who, Grandma? Oh, Daddy, she's so happy, honestly. It turned out to be a good idea after all.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I had my doubts about it.
Oh, not again. You know something? If this keeps up, I'm going to move in with your mother. For some peace and quiet.
You know, it's a load off my mind to know that Mother's settled and happy. Let's eat. I'm starved.
It was nice of you to ask me to eat down here with you. Why shouldn't you? Oh, that's too much, really.
No, it isn't. I hope you like it. It's my own special recipe. Now, you eat every bit of that, Mother Davies. It's good for you.
I didn't get enough. I want more.
Aunt Mattie, you know you're not allowed to eat too much.
Who said so?
The doctor, of course. Go ahead and eat your dinner.
It ain't true. I never had a doctor.
Aunt Mattie.
I'm going to talk if I want to. You're trying to starve me to death, that's what.
That'll do. Come along, Aunt Mattie. I'm going to take you upstairs to your room. Now you understand why I never allowed her to eat down here with us.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's my fault for asking her. I felt sorry for her.
Well, she doesn't deserve it.
The young folks are certainly having a good time tonight.
Good time. We'll be fortunate if we don't get our lease broken.
It does my heart good. But just think how hard all this noise and excitement would have been on an old lady like your mother.
Yeah, it's rough enough on me. Is that the phone?
I couldn't hear a fire engine tonight. Hi, Grandma. How are you? I'm having a party. Listen. Did you hear it? Good thing you're not here. You'd be a wreck. Here's Daddy. It's Grandma.
Hello, Mother. Are you all right?
Oh, yes, dear. I'm fine. I'm glad the children are having such a good time. No, you mustn't worry about me. Everything's fine. I'm very happy. I just want to say hello. Give my love to Cora. Goodbye.
Everybody well?
Oh, yes. My granddaughter's having a party. It sounded very gay.
Now that Grandma's away, the kids can play. Now that poor Aunt Mattie's upstairs, we can finish our meal in peace.
Is she all right? I heard her cry out.
Oh, yes. She has such terrible fits of temper. She kicked her foot on the bedpost. I don't mind for myself, but I won't have you upset.
Oh, I don't mind, really. And it must be very difficult for you.
Oh, but it's good to share our troubles with each other, isn't it? Now, how about that food? Hello, Lister? Can you hear me? Good. I think you'd better come over tomorrow and bring your briefcase. Yes? It'll be the real estate routine. Thank you.
Give me the comics, Dad.
Dad, may I borrow the car tonight?
Don't annoy your dad. Remember, Father's Day is coming.
Yes, Father's Day is coming. Don't forget, the date is June 15th. So remember Dad.
And remember to give him cartons of Philip Morris. Whether you shop at a supermarket, drug, or neighborhood cigarette store, get cartons of Philip Morris for Dad. A gift of Philip Morris is a gift of greater smoking pleasure. You like the beautiful Father's Day gift package, and Dad will like what's inside the carton. For Philip Morris is America's most enjoyable cigarette. Yes, there's more smoking pleasure and more smoking contentment for Dad in every Philip Morris. That's because Philip Morris is the one cigarette really made for pleasure. Yes, everything any man could want in a cigarette, good taste, rich flavor, pleasant aroma, is combined for perfect enjoyment in Philip Morris.
You can't beat Philip Morris for real smoking pleasure. They're my favorite.
Yes, Dad, Philip Morris is the favorite of millions of smokers. That's because with Philip Morris, you can smoke for pleasure today with no cigarette hangover tomorrow. Remember, Philip Morris is made differently from any other leading brand. And that difference is your guarantee of everything you've ever wanted in a cigarette. Keep that in mind, folks, when you buy cigarettes for Dad or for yourself. And remember, for more smoking pleasure today, with no cigarette hangover tomorrow.
Call for Philip Morris!
This was the man Mrs. Ferris had spoken with the night before. Now he had bad news for her.
There'll be no more extensions on your payments on the house.
But, Mr. Lister, I can't lose my house. It isn't just as if it were mine alone, but there are two ladies living here with me. It's their home as well as mine. If I could just have a little more time.
I'm very sorry, but unfortunately, I have no control over the situation. I have my orders. I must have $3,000 by Saturday.
Saturday? But that's only 2 days off. I couldn't.
Well, how much could you manage?
Oh, I don't know. I guess about $500 right now, but I'm sure if I could have a few more months,
There isn't a chance. I'm very sorry. But I hope something works out for you in the next day or two.
Thank you.
Good day, Mrs. Ferris.
Good day.
By some odd coincidence, Mrs. Ferris needed $3,000 to save her house. Just the amount Mrs. Davies had tucked away in a savings bank.
Now, don't cry. There must be something you can do.
I'm afraid not. I guess you'll just have to make plans to go back to your son's house, Mother.
But I don't want to. Oh, it isn't that they aren't always good and kind. But I see now that youth and age don't mix.
Then you're going someplace else.
Oh, no one would ever understand me or give me the care that you have. Besides, that wouldn't be solving your problem.
No, it's no use. I'll just have to lose my house. And after this payment, it would have been my house, too. All free and clear.
We won't lose this house.
What do you mean?
You forget that I have $3,000 saved up.
But your life's saved. Oh, no, I couldn't. I love you for it, Mother Davies, but I couldn't take your money.
But
it wouldn't be right.
I want you to. It means my happiness, too. Couldn't we call it a loan or something?
Well, there is one way I could take it and still feel right about it.
How's that?
Well, I could take it under one condition. That in repayment, we'd understand that you gave it to me for life care. That's legal.
You mean you'd take care of me forever in exchange for that money?
Yes, that's what's called life care. We could put it in writing, and I could have the papers drawn up right away.
And I'd never be a burden to my son.
Though it took every cent that she had in the bank, Grandma paid off the mortgage. Never again would she feel that she was in anybody's way. And so Mrs. Ferris maneuvered the old lady's life savings. But it wasn't long before the attentions dropped off one by one. And one day, things came to a grim finale.
Well, what is this?
I'm moving you upstairs.
Well, this is my room. I don't want to be moved.
I'm afraid you have no choice. I've got to rent that room. With the price of food what it is, how do you expect me to keep on feeding you?
How dare you speak to me in that tone? I'm not here on charity. I gave you $3,000 for life care, and I don't intend to be cheated. Not if I have to tell my son.
I'm giving you a roof over your head and 3 meals a day. So that makes everything legal. Go ahead and tell your son it's all right with me.
Now, you take your hands off my things. They're going back in my room.
Is that say so? Now, you give me
back
those.
in my
You're going to
room.
move upstairs.
I
Give me
will
those.
not.
Give me those clothes.
You hit her. She's my friend, and you hit her. You cheated her.
No, please, don't, dear, don't. Jimmy, that's the last time you'll ever mistreat anyone around here.
You don't say.
Yes, I do. I'm going to have you arrested.
Listen here, you. Any orders given around here, I'll give them. And if you don't like it, you can get out. Only you won't, because you'd have to go back to your son without any money. And then you'd be a burden to him, wouldn't you?
I'll tell my son about you. He'll get my money back.
We signed a paper, remember? I promised to give you room, board, and care. Only I didn't say which room, did I? All right, tell your son. Go back to him. Go back and live on his charity.
Don't say any more. Do like she says.
Now, both of you get upstairs until you realize who's the boss around here.
That must be my daughter-in-law. Please let me answer that. Cora's supposed to come over today.
Tell her not to.
I'll do no such
Tell her not to come.
Hello. Oh, yes. How are you, Cora, dear? No. I guess you'd better not. Today. I won't be home. We're going for a little ride. Oh, yes. Everything's fine. Goodbye. If you think you can separate me from my family...
No, I'm just giving you time to come to your senses. Right now, you might say something you'd be sorry for. Now, both of you get upstairs and stay there.
It's been over a week since Mother told me not to come over. I dropped in yesterday unexpectedly.
Well, did Mother say anything? What aroused your suspicions?
I can't put my finger on anything. She just didn't seem happy. She seemed to have lost weight.
I called her last night, but when I asked her to come back home, she refused.
Tell Captain Braddock what she said. You know about Mrs. Ferris.
Oh, yes. She said she had to stay there. And when I pressed her for an explanation, she said something vague about having a lease with Mrs. Ferris. Now, you know you don't sign a lease in a private boarding home.
Mr. Davies, does your mother have any substantial amount of money?
Well, she has a couple of $1,000s in the bank. We don't know the exact amount.
Hello, get the Department of Social Welfare. Ask for Mrs. Webster. Get a complete check on Catherine Ferris. Find out if she has a license to run a private boarding home. Yeah, that's right. 8006 Grove Street. And get anything else that you can. Thanks. I'll phone you as soon as I get any information. It may take a day or two.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Mrs. Davies. Ice pick, quick. She's reading. Hurry. Before she locks us up for the night. You don't make a noise.
Oh, I can't do it.
Let me try.
Oh, please try hard. I must telephone my son. I won't be locked up another night.
Help me. It's coming.
So, that's what you've been up to. I'll teach you to sneak around behind my back. Out of the way. Stop it. Shut up.
Ferris, you're under arrest.
On what charge?
Running a private boarding home without a state license. Did you give her any money for life care?
Yes, $3,000. But we signed a paper. She said it was legal.
It's illegal to take money for life care of an aged person without state supervision. A racket you've practiced in several states. And apparently a third charge for assault and battery. It seems we've got a nice new home picked out for you, Mrs. Ferris. All right, take her in, Clancy. Don't worry, Mother. We're going to find you. Fortunately, in this case, we were able to recover the $3,000 for Mrs. Davies. Miss Hopkins was placed in a suitable home where she responded to good care. Your State Department of Social Welfare has set standards on private boarding homes where aged persons live on a board and care basis, so that the home best suited to the individual's educational, emotional, and religious background can be secured and a congenial dignity maintained. So if you or someone you know needs this kind of help, be sure and consult with your state, city, or county Department of Social Welfare. Otherwise, this could happen to you. In a moment, we'll call for a few scenes from next week's case. But first,
remember this. You can smoke for pleasure today. No cigarette hangover tomorrow. That is the big advantage you enjoy in Philip Morris. Remember, Philip Morris is made differently from any other leading brand. And that difference is your guarantee of everything you've ever wanted in a cigarette. Tasty mildness, rich flavor, pleasant aroma, a clean, refreshing smoke, and no cigarette hangover. So,
Call for Philip Morris!
you'll be glad tomorrow you smoked Philip Morris today.
next week in Money to Burn, see how a phony play backfired into a big success.
Yes, I killed him, and I'm glad. Do you hear me? Glad, glad, glad.
We can't fight this love of ours, Hyacinth. It's bigger than both of us.
Wait a minute. You mean we're going to get rich on that monstrosity?
Loaded, but for life. I'm sick and tired of being a sucker for show business.
You mean Barkley sold 111% of the show?
He did much better than that.
Now get this. Uncle Tom's Penthouse is one of the most hilarious plays to reach Broadway in many a season.
See Racket Squad next week, same time, same station. All names and places in tonight's story have been changed for obvious reasons, and any resemblance to other people and places is purely coincidental. Our story is presented to expose the confidence game and is never intended to reflect in any way upon honest, legitimate businessmen.
Tune in next Monday night when Philip Morris presents a great new comedy show, My Little Margie, starring Gail Storm and Charles Farrell over most of these same stations. For delayed telecasts, see your local television listings for time and station.